We're now going to cover a new piece of syntax called the ternary conditional operator. So this is actually nothing, no, it's not a new concept, but just a new way of writing an if-else block. So it's a shortcut that you can use for a one line of code that will do an if-else block. It adds no new functionality, so you never have to use this. It's just some other piece of syntax that Python offers in order to do if-else in a single line and not 4 lines like this. So let's take a look at an example that we've learned before and how if statements work. So the way a very simple if statement works is if you write the word if, you follow it by some condition, then you have the colon, then you execute branch 1, some code here, or it could be a lot of code, but in this case it can only be one line of code for the ternary conditional operator. Then you have another branch that comes after the else, like this. So the way you translate this into a ternary operator is with this code right here. So you say branch 1 if condition else branch 2. So ternary operators, they mean the exact same thing. It's just not necessarily read in the same way. So with a typical if else, your normal if else, you read it sort of top to bottom. If condition, then we do branch 1, else do branch 2. Now when you read this, it just looks kind of weird at first. It's just a strange thing to look at. Branch 1, if condition, else branch 2. So you can start from the if. So if condition, if this is true, then you do branch 1, else you do branch 2. So I'm going to translate a simple if else into a ternary. So let's take this right here. Look at this code block over here. We set x to equal 5. If x is less than 10, so a very basic condition, we're going to set this variable var equal to the string low. Otherwise, we're going to assign it to the string high. Let's go ahead and run this. So right now x is 5, so it should trigger this branch right here. That's good. Now we're going to rewrite this. Now just the if else part, not the x equals 5. So the way it's going to work, we're just going to use this as our syntax. We're going to say branch 1. Now, we're not going to do any assignment over here. All we're going to do is write the word low. That'll be branch 1. Then we're going to write our condition. If the condition stays the same, x is less than 10. Else, then we put branch 2. So we're just following this formula. And again, we're not going to have an assignment statement. We're just going to do high like this. And so this is the ternary. So it'll return low if it's less than 10 and high otherwise. Let's go ahead and execute this. And you can see it does the same thing. Now you can do an assignment statement over here. You can say var is assigned to whatever the output is over here of this ternary. And then if we run this, var, you won't be able to see it. You need to put it as the last line in the cell, just like this. So this is what we've done is an exact replication of this code, but using the ternary operator. So you can see there's less code. It's one line. You don't have to have the colon. You don't have to worry about indentation. You don't have to make an assignment for each one. You can have the assignment over here just on the left side. So you only use this ternary operator whenever it's a very simple test. And it can only have one line of code over here or one little expression for each branch. If you have a lot of things going on in the branch, then you cannot use a ternary operator. Only if you have just one thing that's going on. Potentially when we learn about functions, you can have a function call here. But for now, it's got to be a very simple operation. Okay, let's look at another one. So let's just test let's do something when x is odd or even. So again, let's make some assignments at x is 5. Let's say we want to double x if it's odd and maybe square it if it's even. So double it if it's odd, square it if it's even. So the way this is going to work is we're going to have branch 1, so that's like the doubling. And then we're going to have the condition. So I'm just following this formula right here. And maybe I can copy and paste the markdown so everybody can see it. So branch 1, that's the doubling. Then if the condition, if x divided by 2 is equal to 1. So there's the condition. That's how you test for odd. Otherwise, we will square it. So we'll do x squared like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. X is now odd, so it should double it. Let's do another odd number. So 2 times 11 should be 22. If x is even, this is where the else will get triggered. And so this will get squared like that. So become 100. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Let's do the normal if else. So what we'll do here is, let's write it the long way. So if x is odd, then we're going to use a print statement here. We'll say double x. Otherwise, we will triple it. Sorry, no, square it. What am I saying? And maybe a better way to do this is instead of printing, we'll just say, we'll use this var like this. We'll just assign it to var, and then we'll output var like this. Okay, so this is the same logic, just translated in the opposite direction from the ternary operator to a standard if-else block like this. So that is the exact same logic. We just have to use a variable here to contain or hold on to that result, and then finally output the result after the if-else block. Okay, so that is how you can work with the ternary conditional operator. You get no new functionality, but it does shorten up your code, and other people use it, so it is good to know, even if you don't choose to use it yourself.